said, girl, why you keep calling? I said, girl, why you keep calling? Yeah, she said, I need to do it. Yeah, cause I know that you're still ballin'. She just wanna go back to the future, so I brought that girl a DeLorean. 21 minutes until I gotta go, so I told that girl I'm gonna slaughter it. I met that girl right up at my show. Left her man in the crowd on the floor. Out of town, never saw her before. Told her, baby, we don't got that long. Listen, this not my city show, but I treat it like my city show. 20 more minutes into I'm on. 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 Yeah, I am not slow. Nigga, you want me cause I got the dough. Pass that girl right on my friend, give me cold. He passed me her friend, so they switching roles. I hit it fast. Yeah, I hit it slow. But by the morning, girl, I gotta go. Gotta get ready, tonight is my show. If you okay, you might open my show. Gotta be partners right under my nose. These niggas mad cause I got all the dough. These niggas mad cause I got all the dough. Changing my style cause I got every flow. Got every girl, ain't no top in my hoes. I understand that it's your girlfriend, bro. But you know I got a kid for clothes. I'll be a Lex and I keep them close. Living life on the edge, on a tightrope. I am so clean, I might start moving so. Try the new Rari, I don't need to know. Try the Bugatti like it's a bubble. I had your girl and you already know. Don't really like her, we friends for the most. Cube in the truck, all on my choke. Don't even crook, got the bread in your toast. If you that touching my gun, got no host. I put a coat on the top of my coat. Only 20 minutes before the show. I met that girl right up at my show. Left her man in the crowd on the floor. Out of town, never saw her before. Told her, baby, we don't got that long. Listen, this not my city show, but I treat it like my city show. 20 more minutes into I'm on. 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 Yeah, I am not slow. Nigga, you want me cause I got the dough. Pass that girl right on my friend, give me cold. He passed me her friend, so they switching roles. Damn, I just started it. Man, I just started it. Oh my God, please do not bother me. Don't got enough just to order me. I'm on that tree like an ornament. Money so long like a cardigan. You lied to me, wasn't sorry then. On the weekend you was partying. It was you, me, it was targeting. It was you, me, it was targeting. Jump in the Porsche, my target. Jump in the Lamb, I ain't parking it. Ice is so cold, I snowboarding it. Go to my show, they applaud me in. She called my phone with emergency. She called my phone with that urgency. I said, girl, why you keep calling? I said, girl, why you keep calling? Yeah, she said, I need a new whip. Yeah, cause I know that you're still ballin'. She just wanna go back to the future, so I brought that girl a DeLorean. 21 minutes until I gotta go, so I told that girl I'm gonna slaughter it. I met that girl right up at my show. Left her man in the crowd on the floor. Out of town, never saw her before. Told her, baby, we don't got that long. Listen, this not my city show, but I treat it like my city show. 20 more minutes into I'm on. 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 Yeah, I am not slow. Nigga, you want me cause I got the dough. Pass that girl right on my friend, give me cold. He passed me her friend, so they switching roles.
Hello. Hello, hippie love. Wow, it has been a while. Wait a second. Let's see. When was the last time you were here? 8/7. August 7th. It's like a month and a half. You saw me before I shut down the page and relaunched as Count Howell. Good to see you. How have you been? Cool. I think we are good to go. Pull up my calendar for Wednesday. For Friday. Really? This happens. But tell me about it. What's going on? You know I love to sit and listen to people's problems and empathize and send them love. I do though. I love hearing about other people's problems because they're not my problems. That's not whatever. That's your life. That shit matters. Reading some of our prior conversations. I have that power. Aw. Oh. Jesus, holy shit. Blow after blow here. Man, rough times. For sure. Hell no. Fuck that. Absolutely not would I talk to that person. If you help an abuser, you're out, man. You're fucking out. This doesn't go here. Because then it's just going to keep pushing my shirt around in a stupid way. I don't know where this goes. Maybe out here? What? Well, I'm glad they did. Trust me, I understand being suicidal. I have had to check myself into an institution twice to stop myself from killing myself. I am the number one tool against me killing myself. but it's rough, you know, and I kind of have a little bit of a death drive where I just like don't want to live. So I constantly have to like kind of fight against that in a way. And it's not easy. So, you know, be proud of yourself that you are alive, because that's fucking good. The rest will come in times. In time. Is this set up? Yes, it is. Hello, sister. Your mother's the least of your worries, honestly. If the alternative is you end up killing yourself, then I don't really care anymore what my mom's opinion of me is, because it would be that I'm dead. That would be her opinion. Or, fucking help me, Mom. But family has a way of being very unreliable when you need them for those kinds of things. So, how old are you? Aren't you old enough to check yourself in and just go? But if you live with your mom, I guess it'd be like, where were you? They do a mandatory 72-hour hold in most places. Oof. Parents have a way of really freaking out about that kind of stuff. Taking it very personally, being mad and offended that you are depressed. So just be careful. Your priority is to watch your own ass. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Little hairs in my face. I think it actually was a hair. Yes. That came off and was just in my mouth. Let's see what's going on in the world. Shall we? All right. Reddit news. Judge orders Eric Trump to testify before election in New York Attorney General probe of President Trump's company. Okay. Why aren't you able to take your meds? Once again, Homeland Security says that white supremacists are the most persistent extremist threat to the United States. Surprise, fucking prize. Surprise, motherfucker. Had a panic attack in class because I was so overwhelmed. What the fuck? What's going on? I mean, yeah, it's a lot of shit to deal with, but you need to get some meds and some help. Yeah, next time you hear someone mention fucking, the extremist Antifa group, remind them that Homeland Security in 2016 and 2020 said that the biggest threat to American security is white nationalists. So that's for a good 5 years. Portland denies permit for right-wing rally, cites COVID-19. Go Portland. I just love like weird disparate organizations in the government, right? Like that Homeland Security does not have a benefit to hide the fact that white nationalism is the biggest threat to America. You know what I mean? Like for example, you would never ever ever hear that from the White House. You just won't. You just won't hear it. Like that's not something that comes from there, or the Senate, because those places are filled with them. But really, like the whole concept of that, like that the Homeland Security are guys who we invented back in 2001 to wait, was it 2001? When the fuck did 9/11 happen? 2001, right? I know we had Homeland Security. We did, right? Before that. But yeah, we had Homeland Security. But still. To black bull cuck porn. So many of them do. Like that's the big thing, the big underpinning to that whole idea is that the word cuck would not have become popular if it wasn't what they're fucking terrified of. Why are they terrified of it? Because they like it. I remember once being told homophobia is not fear of gays. Homophobia is fear of being gay. And that opened the door for me to be like, oh my God, all these motherfuckers and all their shit. So yeah, what I guess I'm trying to say is fuck the police, coming straight from the underground. Shit's getting so bad. That sucks to hear. It really does. I when I go through depression, I very much go through a very similar thing where it's like now everything, like it's a snowball effect, right? Where like, shit was not great, but now because you won't stop sleeping, you start missing appointments, you start missing med refills, you start missing things, and then all of a sudden shit gets worse. Way worse. And then your health takes a turn for the worst. You know what I mean? Like it just starts stacking up all of a sudden. And it's really terrifying that can happen. And I don't want to see that happen to you as much as it happens to me. But I very much know how that feels. I remember multiple times in my life where I've said, maybe I can just sleep through the week. Maybe I can make it just sleeping, getting up to eat, and then disappearing again so that I can just like only exist for when I get to where I want to be. Perfect encapsulation of why I haven't yeeted myself. How's life going? Ain't dead yet, motherfucker. Missed my therapy session yesterday because I was so exhausted that I slept halfway through. I have done that many times. Many, many times I have done the exact same thing. And it sucks. It sucks a lot. Because then you fall behind, like, slowly but surely on everything, you know? Like, if you can't get to therapy, how's your mood supposed to improve? So then that gets worse. And then you start missing more doctor sessions. Like, it's really a shame, the domino effect that happens if you don't have a ripcord to pull to get out of the cycle, or if you don't have someone really in your corner backing you up, helping you out. Because without that, you know, it's easy to just get lost in the downward cycle. Yeah. See, thankfully I had different eating problems. So I would just sleep for 2 or 3 days and not eat. But I was always underweight. So for me, that was a problem. And I had to force myself to get up and eat at various times. Yeah, having friends to help pull you out of this is like necessary. Getting out on your own is so fucking hard. I mean, I've done it. I've gotten out of slumps by myself, but they're way longer. They're way deeper, and it just damages you. You know what I mean? It's not like you learn from these things. It's not like, oh, you know, a little bit of pain helps you learn. No, it's just fucking trauma on trauma on trauma. And having a friend to kind of help bail you out or shield you from some of that is just necessary sometimes. If your friends got your back when you're at your weakest and you have theirs, then you're good. Damn. That's not good either, you know. Obviously, eating regular meals of decent portions is where we all want to be. Underweight, overweight, that's where we're all trying to get, right? It's to that fucking point. And absolutely, when you're depressed, it'll just fuck that all up. It'll fuck it all up. So I hope that you're able to find some corner of this that you can start chipping away at. You know, it may seem like you're staring at a boulder, and people are telling you that there's a statue in there. And the trick is to just start chipping at any part of it that you can. You know what I mean? And any angle of it that you can grab a hold of, that's where you want to grab. Because the more you do, the more handholds will appear for you to get out. But it becomes very hard to see those areas where you feel like you can make a change or you can make an improvement. It can become very blinded by, you know, all the ways in which you can't make changes or improve things. But those things that you can't change are so much easier to deal with when you're not dealing with 8 other things at the same time that maybe you could have, you know, helped with or dealt with in some other way. And that's not judging at all. That's just saying this is what happens. This is just how it works. Like, that's no like, if you aren't doing this, you're bad. No, it's just like, we all don't do it a lot. And that's what you got to do. That's the only way out, is to grab on to any part of it that you can fucking fit a finger on and fight like hell. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm trying to give hippie advice from the perspective of not having support, right? Like, if you can talk to your mom and win her over to your perspective of needing help, obviously that's a million times better. In something very close to bulimia, eating disorders are, to quote a prophet, the fucking pits. My family has a bunch of financial issues and a ton of drama I have to deal with, plus my sisters feel like I'm going to explode and go insane. You have that feeling where it actually feels like there's something in your brain that hurts? Because you just like can't wrap your head around what's happening and make sense of it and process it. And it just feels like a fucking balloon is just blowing up inside your brain. Yeah. I mean, this is all like, it's called frenzy. um, and this is all just to say that, wow, there's basically nothing any of us can do to help you. You're not alone. I don't want to say we've been there, because like no one's dealt with your exact situation. But the feelings you have because of your situation are things that at least the other two in chat I know have dealt with as well. We have all been there. Not been there in your situation, but been there in the way that you feel. Like you're about to lose your shit. Like everything is fucking crumbling. And you're hanging on to reality by a goddamn thread. Not even a big sweater thread. Like a little sock thread. That you're just like, oh fuck. Reality. Don't go. Please. I need you. Yeah, fuck, dude. That sucks. That's basically all we can do. And from not a position of like, huh, that sucks. But like a, man, fuck. Well, on top of that, hippie, even if you don't have ADHD, dealing with all these other issues immediately affects your ability to process information. I read once that being poor is the same thing as having 20 less IQ, because the stress and trauma you endure as a poor person occupies so much of your attention that you can't ever think as clearly as you could if your money problems were relieved. So stretch that across money, relationships, jobs, family, all these areas in which when a lot of stress comes up, these are avenues where you're supposed to be able to turn to in a way. But when they become the sources of your stress, and especially money, man, it can make you feel dumb. Literally. Like you can't think your way out of situations as good as you could. It's like people need a safe home to be safe financially and emotionally. Yeah, absolutely. So if rent does it, why not, fuck, what am I going to do about this relationship that I'm in? Fuck, what am I going to do about my mom? Fuck, how am I going to tell my parents I'm gay? Fuck, how am I going to, any of these things I could say are equally as important to your life as money. And you will get equally as stressed about them as you would money. So for each one you have, it's just putting another brick on your back. Like, hippie, I had to do 5 classes and work full time. And I held it for 2 semesters. And then I wanted to die. And then I literally just wanted to be dead. It's not fun. And it's not easy to have to work and go to school, or even the opposite, to go to school without money from a job. It's like impossible to live through college life at that level with no money. Well, what the fuck are you going to do? Get a job? Good luck doing homework. Better hope you can do homework at work. And then there's the defunding of fucking mental health services, which is an underpinned theme to a lot of the stuff we've talked about, right? I don't even know how many times in the last week that has come up, right? That mental services are not as accessible and abundant and effective as they used to be. Not that they were ever where they should be, but that it's literally getting worse. When would we say the best time to be mentally ill would have been if it keeps getting defunded? Because at some point they weren't investing money in it, Then they started to. Then they started pulling money out. So at what point was it like they had the best, most doctors in 2008? You know what I mean? Like whatever year it was where this was a thing, I'd like to know. Because in my experience, it's been never. You could be a court wizard. That's very true, provided you were born into nobility. If you weren't, you were going to spend the rest of your life in the stocks. Hey! Hey! Did you know that if you spin a magnet around inside a wire, you can make protons move through the wire and they can power something? Me. In the stocks. In the 1500s. Being in a loony bin would have been terrible. Asylums. What? Right? Booing the witch from the stocks as they burn her. Boo! Boo! Yeah! Get her, guys! Yeah! Kick her! Kick her again! Boo! Boo! Those with dementia, mentally ill, and overflooded facilities which caused massive defunding. When was that? Are those with dementia mentally ill? Ooh boy. Ooh boy, okay. Yes. In the sense that they have an illness which dramatically affects their mental capacity, but at the same time, so do the mentally handicapped. Huh. Huh. That's a weird one. Dementia specifically, too. Not Alzheimer's. Dementia. Where the symptoms are nearly identical to like madness. Yeah, like the thing that causes it is biological in a very real way. I mean, in the same way that Alzheimer's is something we can observe. But the behavior it creates next to a schizophrenic is like they're both hearing voices. They both see something that's not here. One just thinks he's in the 40s. The other one thinks he is a superhero. I don't know. That's a weird one. That's a really weird one. For the maybe I should say it this way. For the things you need to do to treat those people, the facilities would need to be different. So no matter what, they should not have been put into mental health care facilities, as they're probably all elderly, almost all. So like what they need is very fucking different than like me and a bunch of people trying to kick drugs. When I followed Christianity, I felt so unlike myself, trying to be someone I'm not. I've done some research into paganism, and I'm so drawn to it. It's like a connection. Paganism is a very open-ended term and represents a lot of different small beliefs, right? So if this group believed that you would commune in this spirit by, doing this thing, and this group believed that you'd communicate with a different spirit by doing another thing, as a pagan, you're allowed to adopt both of those and do whichever you like. Now, that's a slippery slope towards chaos magic that I say you should fucking nosedive down that slip and slide, baby. But great-grandma died of Alzheimer's. I was fucking terrified to listen to the words like a constant stream about a journal and men in black and hidden spoons and just constant apologies. There's intellectual disabilities that do cause early dementia, like Down syndrome and Angelman syndrome. Okay, which I mean, I said there's some intellectual disabilities or mental handicaps which which I would classify as being biological in nature, which could affect your mental state. And I almost feel like those people should be in the facility with the Alzheimer's patients, not the facility with the people who have borderline schizophrenia, depression. That, like, again, we require two different treatments. These people don't need to go to group. These people don't need one-on-one therapy service time. They need, like, skill building and care more so than anything, whereas these people need to just kind of like be watched and medicated. Like, so long as you medicate them correctly, they're mostly functioning adults, kinda, like in the case of mental illness. Well, hippie, let me give you this gem. It is only in Judeo-Christianity, for the most part, that you need to confirm your belief. Yeah. Outside of that, there's no stamp or patch or flag. You just do whatever the fuck you want to do. So if you want to practice paganism, practice it. You're not a pagan. If you want to be a pagan, be a pagan. You don't ever even have to practice a pagan ritual to be a pagan. Yeah, make your own flag. Fuck it. As soon as you leave behind Western religion of Christianity, Catholicism, I'm even going to put Muslim in that category, Judaism. As soon as you leave that behind, there's no more structure. It is not at all like those religions would teach you that religion is like. Only their religions are like that. The rest of us, we're having fun with our dicks out. We're just, fuck it, man. Today, I am a Pastafarian. Abrahamic thought. Yeah, that's a good way to classify that. Abrahamic thought. Because that goes all the way to the core of it, right? Like, from confirming your belief in a religion and holding no other deities above the one you say you believe in, all the way through to, like, vengeance, punishment, owning women, slavery, like, that covers the whole gamut there. The things they do to mentally make sense of that stuff, like women aren't people, like, let's stick with that one just for a second. The things in the rest of the book that have to be that way to back up the idea that you shouldn't treat women as people is so working backwards. Like, they started going, you're not my equal. She was made from a rib. Fuck you, bitch. Like, yeah, it's insanity. They started from the conclusion and worked totally backwards, and the whole thing is just like a tangled mess of those threads. Things to justify habits and behaviors that they already had. You know how few people look at Christianity without any of the patterns or behaviors of Christianity and go, that's the religion for me. No. You already act like a Christian if you adopt Christianity. You don't, as much as we'd like to pretend that, like, they're like, you know, the Western guy who shows up at the Shaolin temple and, like, has to completely, you know, wash themselves in the knowledge of the ancients and figure out what's going on truly. Christianity's not like that. Nah. You start out with the beliefs that you have, and then you show up at Christianity and go, these guys confirm what I already thought. You know, other races aren't as cool as I am, and animals can't think. Sometimes you have to really leave a situation to overcome. Absolutely. Exactly, hippie. And that's the thing, okay, is we can immediately say that religions are not true in a literal sense. Most Christians will even tell you these are parables. It is not truth, okay? So why don't tell me what am I supposed to get from the story of Adam and Eve? That's the wrong question. The question is, why was the parable of Adam and Eve written down? What did anyone stand to gain by putting those words down? It helped to validate the fact that I don't have to treat you like people if you have a vagina. And that's the whole fucking religion. Everything starts from what I want, then I just make up a story to fit it. And if that wasn't true, we wouldn't fucking have the King James edition that was literally within modern history a guy doing that. Going, scratch that, add this, scratch that, add this. We know that's what he did, and people still take that book as being like a representation of God's word. I don't even believe in God, and that is insane to me. If I believed in God, like God, capital G God, I would immediately become Jewish. I'd try to convert to Judaism. I'd start there at least. You know, but it just doesn't even make any fucking sense at all. And Judaism has a lot of those lost bits like Lilith and stuff like that. And Judaism talks about there being other gods like Moloch, shit like that, and man, I don't remember who he is. It's in the South Park episode. And this is why Jews are totally different than Christians. You get them, and you're like, so what do you think about the whole like God thing? You think he really spoke to a guy and told him to kill his son, and then told him not to at the last second? And they're like, really, this is just how we stay connected as a people. You're like, wait, you're not even going to touch the fiction of the Bible? This is the opinion of religion every Jew I meet has. Just like, well, be good. So yeah, like going to these later editions and being like, oh, this is truth. Oh, Mormonism? Totally. Oh, Muslim? Yeah. Not only were there two prophets, you know, with Noah and Jesus. There's more, actually. Joseph Smith and Muhammad. We're not done. We're not done making sequels. God 3, some dude named Abraham. In some circles, it is believed that some parts of the Bible were written as fiction, then adopted in what became the Bible later on. Absolutely. On top of that, too, because from what I understand, that is very much what Revelations was. On top of that, as well, you have the borrowed aspects, like virgin birth, born on the 25th of December. Like 9 out of 10 of the qualities that make Jesus who he is are actually another god named Mithra. Mithra was the first god I think we had that like was born of a virgin. There was a star above him when he was born. Like, it is the fucking birth of Jesus story when you look at and Mithra was Hinduism. When you look at that one, you're like, oh, yeah, you guys just kind of rewrote some existing shit, didn't you? Then later in the winter, early spring, the Palestinian winters can last. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Horus was also made on December 25 with a star. Yeah, like, there's so many religions that have that one. Born on the winter equinox under a star. To a virgin. We're talking like fucking 25 gods already. So clearly there is some metaphysical quality to the concepts of the winter solstice. I think I called it an equinox a second ago. The winter solstice, virgin birth, and a star appearing when you're born. Like, these are interesting things to the human mind to the degree that we keep writing about them over and over and over. But to accept any given one fable as being like, actually this one happened, yeah, like, you would then have to say, well, why are you denying every other instance of that happening? Why do you not give equal faith to Horus, who was also those things? Orthodox holidays, I was told, more close to the actual time, more of the events historically. Christmas being when it was more related to getting pagans on board. Yes. Co-opting other faiths, basically. I mean, that's how we ended up with Santa. How many Christians do you know have fucking pictures of Santa up around Christmas? Like, what are you doing? Hey, Nana gave you some money. Dope. Hello, Kayeen. How are you? Long time no see. You're alive. Good, good. Glad to hear that. How much did Nana give me? How thick is that envelope? I gotta weigh it. I gotta feel the heft in my hand. 20 bucks. That's my first guess. Two many zeros. Okay, I will do that. Hello, me. Everyone pay the vampire. Yeah. Really? I very much thought the mustache and thing was more count-like, but interesting perspective. Interesting perspective. I miss being clean-shaven. It's nice, but I do feel like a young boy. I think I look like 24? 19! Oof! Oh! It's true, an Eternal does shirk earthly things like facial hairs. Like a mustache. Ha! But Dracula has it. Dracula in Castlevania has it. And that's who I copied, okay? Alucard doesn't. Neither does Vampire Hunter D. So, I'm not saying there's no vampires of either side. I'm just saying. I am 33. Good job remembering that. Nice work. "33 for years, for fucking years." That's what he said. It was blurred out because it was cuss words. 33 for fucking years. I said I was 33. I didn't say how long I'd been this way. So, what's going on, guys? What you got going on this week? It is Wednesday, which means that you have made it most of the way through the week. Congratulations. You only have 2 more weekdays to go. You're growing a beard. Ooh. The only beard advice I feel at all qualified to give is the following. As a guy who didn't grow in full facial hair for a long time, like it just grew in these weird white trashy looking patches, unless you have enough to make a beard, don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not going to look good. You're going to look like a neck beard with scraggly fucking dumb hairs looking all like pubes on your chin. But if you've got it, if you've got that thickness, then it can make you look fucking regal. Yeah, if it's patchy, skip it. Right now would be a good time to find out. Right? Because you can just kind of grow it, and if it looks like shit, you don't go anywhere. You order everything on Amazon. And if it looks good, then you keep it. Yes, very much take care of that hair. You do need to shampoo and condition it. It is hair. Remember that. I remember when I was like 13 or 14, and one of my buddies told me that they use conditioner on their pubes, and my mind just broke. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, shampoo and condition your pubes. It's hair. Ever since, compliments. Ladies saying, hey, I like that your pubic hair doesn't like scratch up my genitals. And you're like, no problem. Either shave it or condition it. It's fine to have a bush so long as it's not like a porcupine. Going to Disney on Sunday. What? Which Disney? Disneyland, Disney World, well, Disney Orlando, Disney California. I kind of want some coffee. I'm going to finish this Red Bull and then make myself some coffee. And then after the talk, I'll probably still be energetic and I'll want to play something. Either some Fall Boys, go back to trying to play Fury again, or some Dork Souls. Those are the games that I'm on right now. Haven't been to Disney in like 18 years. I had a lot of fun the last time I went, but that was when I did all the acid and all that shit. I don't think I'm ever going to want to go again. Man, I was doing so bad. That I just kept yelling and being mad. Are those two ideas connected? You like, while I was playing Fury, you made a pizza, so you were only partially... Or you just made a pizza, and you're just letting us know. Nice. Very nice. Oh. Very cool. That's where I went, all fucked up on acid. I had a lot of fun. But I say this for different reasons this time. I went with a staff member who was able to get us fast pass for like everything. And where like she had a disability or something, so she'd go up and she'd show them a card, and they'd like page her or call her to let her know it was her turn to get on the ride. So we could just like check in at different rides and then go eat and then just go straight on the rides. Like, I think without that stuff, I would have fucking hated it. But I am 33 and not a lady, and Disneyland can be more appealing to other demographics than my own. I feel the same way about Japanese, Kane. I want to learn it. I've taken classes. I don't have anybody to talk to in Japanese. Need to find a Japanese girlfriend who doesn't speak English. That's the key. How do you say anal in Japanese? Yeah? That happens, Kane. Join our Discord server. Hang out with us. Does it work? I think it works. Now you want food. You guys, you little rascals. It's like you all get each other hungry. One of you starts talking about food, then someone else does, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, everyone's like, oh man, I'm so hungry, I want to eat that stuff. It's like yawning, except with more carbs. I don't eat that much. Neither do I. I hate food. There's some foods I like. I like sushi. Maybe tomorrow I'll go get myself some grocery store sushi. The best kind. Because it's good and it's so cheap. It's so cheap. And nowhere are you going to get good, cheap sushi outside the grocery store. Slim Fast forever. Sip that slim slow. Your right scapula is messed up. Interesting. I had to have hormone shots or steroid shots in my scapula because I fucked that shit up. I was walking with a plastic tub that was probably 2 feet deep and like this wide, full of cubed pineapple. And I tripped on a floor mat in the back of the kitchen. And I almost dropped this huge fucking thing full of pineapple and then caught it again at the last second. And when I caught it, my right shoulder just went, ah! And oh my God, was it fucked for like a year. Took like a year for that shit to heal. And every once in a while, it still fucks up. Just cause it can. Lobster and shrimp. I like lobster a lot. Crab too. But I feel so horrible eating them because I look at them and I see their shit. It's like if you were eating a hamburger that still looked like a cow. Right? Like crab and shellfish. Hello, Daywolf. Sorry, I was in the middle of a thought and just kept going. Hi, Daywolf. I missed you. I look at the little lobster and I'm like, poor little guy. And I'm supposed to fucking break his shell open and like consume his innards? It's really rough. It's really rough. But man, does that stuff taste delicious with that butter? Oh my God. I had a $50 gift card to Red Lobster, and I'm single. So I was like, looks like I'm going to get myself some lobsters. And I went with a book, and I just sat there and ate $50 worth of lobster by myself. It was good. It was a good time. Can you imagine if you went to get lobster with your partner and you see this sitting alone, just mowing down on lobster? I'd be uncomfortable. You can't eat a lot of one thing. See, I'm very much the opposite there. I will eat the same thing over and over and over and over for a while. First, I assumed that you could attract a human being. Well, it was just an assumption. I'm sorry. I forgot. I forgot that you're dumb and ugly. You could never have a man. This is, I just keep putting it on and it keeps being cockeyed at different angles. Oh, he cocked it alive? Damn. Zoophilia is not good. You shouldn't cock a lobster. You've never been in a relationship. I forgot that. That's right. You did say that before. So what do you guys what do you guys look for in a relationship? First of all, I'm going to throw this out there. Ain't nobody getting in like, it is not the easiest to find a goddamn relationship right now, okay? So nobody should feel sorry for themselves that they don't have a partner at the moment. Where the fuck were you supposed to meet somebody if you were single in the last year? At a Black Lives Matter protest? That's about the only social interactions you're going to fucking have with people. Someone who won't depend on you for anything. That is an interesting one. Once you're in a relationship, do you mind building dependency on one another? Or do you want to like be straight up like, I don't want to ever have to help them? Yeah, I'm not going to acknowledge the absolute as much as the whether for anything. That might not be a realistic expectation in permanence or in perpetuity. Everybody has times when they need someone, you know, and especially when you're in a relationship, that's the first person you're going to ask when you need help. If someone can't function without you, like, yeah, they need to fuck off. Girlfriend broke up with you today. Yeah, you said that, but it sucks. The last 3 relationships I've been in, 4 relationships that I've been in, I broke up with them. But it wasn't really any easier. Like, I had to break up with them because they were treating me like shit. So, feeling like shit, I don't know. I think I would have rather them break up with me earlier than me wait around because I thought they still liked me. And then I ended up having to break up with them because they would have just kept using me and staying with me forever. Now, not using me for any sort of Cain, it's a phrase where the meaning of the words is not the same as the meaning of the expression. When someone says that they're sorry, they don't mean that they did something wrong. What they mean to say is that they empathize with it and that they're sad to hear it. I actually make a very specific effort to not say I'm sorry unless I'm sorry. But it's something you would have to put effort into doing for most people, because the phrase is just so commonly used that if you try to avoid saying I'm sorry when someone's in a shit situation and you're not used to it, a lot of times you'll feel like you don't have anything to say. Good luck, hippie. I can promise you that this is the worst time ever to try and succeed on OnlyFans. You have more competition than you would ever have, unless you have a dick that can spin on its own, or a pussy that can, like, I don't know, fucking cause a flood. No one's gonna care about an OnlyFans that any of us have. Yeah, yeah, very much system. Most people who are native English speakers will just say I'm sorry all the time. A pussy that can self prolapse. Yeah. You need a pussy that can fucking bounce up the stairs like bounce down the stairs like a slinky. Otherwise, I'm not paying you $7 for your OnlyFans. Okay. We are going to talk about some stuff tonight, guys. So, just so you guys know, I'm going to start saying this before I record each time. When you see that pop up, it means that I'm recording a YouTube video. If I say goodbye at the end, it does not mean that I am getting off the stream. It means that I am ending the recording. So, when I say goodbye at the end, don't leave. I'm still here. I'm just recording a YouTube video. A prostitute, maybe. Yeah, maybe right now. It probably is a good time to be a prostitute right now. I can't imagine that the number of sex workers in that regard increased nearly as much. And people are way more willing to pay for sex right now than I think they've ever been, because no one's getting laid. I've been hitting up Tinder lately, which is going to be part of our discussion. So, I still do want coffee, even though I'm still quite warm. So, I'm going to go BRB. I'm going to make myself this coffee. I have a thing that'll take like 2 minutes. And then we are going to talk about dating sites. Okay, guys? So if you have any ideas or questions about things we can talk about when we talk about it, go ahead and put them in chat, and I'll add it to the talk. All right, be right back. I have returned with coffee. With coffee. Ooh, people meeting again on non-dating sites. Okay, friends. Doesn't seem teen-like. Sister does not seem very teen-like. That is definitely an aura she does not give off. All right. Bad AF. Okay, friends, remember what I said. When that thing's up, it's because I'm recording. So if I'm slow to respond and things like that, it's just because of the flow. And even when I say goodbye, I am staying online. So. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Count Howell, and tonight on Advanced Sex Ed for Adults, we are talking about dating websites. Specifically, I was asked to discuss dating websites as they pertain to people who are into the BDSM scene and finding kinky partners, as well as, is it worth it even at all? Which, with that part of the question tacked on the end, we can see we're probably in for a messy situation if we have to ask ourselves, is this worth it? So. Night-night. Let me get my dog. Okay. I have my dog. Dating sites. Let's go back in time. Let's go back to a different time called 2005. Your boy here had a MySpace page, but I also had a page on what's called BuddyPick. BuddyPick was a social networking website which everyone used as a dating website. Everyone just used it to find people to flirt with or hang out with or whatever. I must have been fucking 15, 14 when I had my profile on here and was meeting girls. Meeting the ladies online. I met the second girl I ever dated via that website. Now, this was actually right before MySpace took off. So I had a MySpace account, but it didn't matter much. Now, this was at a time on the internet when people were still like, don't ever give out your name or what state you live in, or a stalker will find you. So, I kind of had to be sneaky with my mom about using it. Like, she could see it and she didn't really know what it was I was doing, but I couldn't like say, yeah, I met this girl on the internet and I want to go meet her, because she'd be like, that's not a girl, it's a man. But it never was. It was always girls. Now, also during that era, I remember visiting many girls' houses armed with an address and a printed out Google map. Yay. So obviously we've stepped up the game since then. Actual dating websites came about. MySpace was a thing, obviously. That drew a lot of people onto the internet who were not on there before. Facebook even more so. So before MySpace and Facebook, the people who used dating sites were computer savvy people who are also single. In the 2000s. This is not a very big group of people. But there's actually a lot of teens. It was a lot of teens on there. So then things escalated. I think obviously we always had like eHarmony, like Match.com, those things. I remember at one point, I forget which one of it is. One of those is free. And I signed up and I filled out all the questions and it was like, searching. No matches found. Oh. And I remember the other one was Super Christian, so I didn't last long on there. Match.com is free, but this would have been 2006, 2007 that I'm talking about, really. So at that time, too much effort to stay in tune with online stuff. Okay. I'll come to that. Farmersonly.com. Blackpeoplemeet.com. So I met a lot of girls when I was young. When I was a teenager, I met a lot of girls online who just straight up gave me their address or met me in a park somewhere. And either one of us could have been a serial killer. I sat in my car and waited until I saw a cute girl. She's the one standing out in a parking lot by herself at fucking midnight. So, but in my butt. So, dating online at that point in time, as I said, were computer savvy people. There's not a ton of those. Therefore, it was older dudes who had computers and teenagers. This paved the way for MySpace, and MySpace got me laid a lot. I used to just send a message to cute girls, and I'd be like, hey, what's up? Wanna fuck? You'd be surprised how well that works. When you are 17 and you are messaging other 17-year-olds. So during that time, you started to see a lot more people online. You had Scene Kids. It started being like you needed a MySpace page or you were dumb. You were lame. And it became more normalized for you to hear of people who met online via MySpace or via some other thing. World of Warcraft started to take off, and while this was a thing in MMOs beforehand, a lot more people were playing WoW than any other game, and the close proximity to other players for a long period of time led a lot of people to start relationships with people they met in World of Warcraft. You started to see people who started relationships with people they met in Second Life. And suddenly saying, I met my partner online was not totally creepy and weird, where it was in the early 2000s. Though, if you used a Vocaloid relationship, if you used a dating website, that was different than using MySpace or Facebook. So MySpace and Facebook, you would be there because everyone was there, and you might meet other people for the first time, or you'll talk to people who you haven't talked to in years, that you lost contact with in person. And so those people could date and it wasn't weird. Where, right, friendship, right? Now, when those people dated, they'd say, oh, we knew each other in high school, we rekindled on MySpace or Facebook, and now we are dating. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. We met on Match.com. That's sad. So why? Why did people divide like that? It made sense and it was socially comfortable to hear that you ran into your partner by chance, but to hear that you sought them out to such a degree that you made a profile on a dating website was weird. Now, I think a lot of the stigma from speed dating and blind dates and stuff like that carried over to dating websites. People had a lot of that stigma. So if you said that you had a profile on one, people kind of gave you a weird look, like you were desperate. Sexual harassment, Panda. You have me and you. We're gonna get together real well. So what happened next? Then you had Craigslist. So one of the things about desperate people is that they go after sex. They're looking for it. I mean, they're usually like, I am trying to find someone to have sex with, right? This is also true about people in BDSM. Because for us, sex is a form of play. It's a thing that we can do with other people to have fun. You know, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. So casual encounters for people in the BDSM community was pretty common. And so you began to have on Craigslist casual encounters, hookups, as well as straight up personal ads. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Look how many people in here are talking about finding love on the Craigslist. So it was seen socially as very weird if you met on Craigslist. Craigslist is like got a bad stigma, a real bad stigma. In many ways, you were seen as very desperate if you met someone on Craigslist. If you posted on Craigslist, you were seen as very desperate. If you found someone on Craigslist, you were not seen as desperate. So mostly guys would post their profiles so women could approach them and the women wouldn't feel weird because women have a deathly allergy to feeling weird and will never put themselves in that situation. So basically, over time, you had two forms develop. There was the acceptable form of finding relationships online, and then there were the weird ways. Acceptable forms were running into people you didn't know, people you didn't know via Facebook, MySpace, old friends, groups online, stuff like that. The unacceptable and weirdo way was to post classifieds. So, FetLife. A website comes out called FetLife. Now, Craigslist would inevitably shut down its personals because too many prostitutes. So, people who were really kinky and wanted to meet for casual encounters had to find somewhere to go. And it would seem that most of them went to FetLife. or Backpage or something like that, but that was for pay to play kind of stuff. This was for mutuals. Take your medicine with coffee. It's delicious. So, FetLife is not a place that you tell your friends you have an account. You're allowed to post nudes, post videos, pretty much whatever you want, so long as it's legal. And FetLife intentionally has a terrible function for searching for people, so that you're not able to easily go, I'd like to meet 26-year-old ladies in my area. You have to fucking go all the way through everyone's page. You're allowed to look up your area, Phoenix, and then I have to look at everyone who's in Phoenix. So they wanted to encourage people to get to know one another through the forums and through events. However, there were people who were willing to put in the effort of searching out other people straight up on FetLife. But either way, generally, they were meeting for BDSM, fetish kind of stuff. Now, some other websites have popped up to fill that niche, but it seems like they get filled with scammers and call girls very quickly. Second wife and I dated this broad from FetLife. That's a story. Yeah, I feel like everyone has a story about someone they met on FetLife that's just like, oh. So there's an issue online where there's like 3 different groups of people. Okay, you have people who are legitimately like looking for relationships. You have people who are looking for casual fun. And then you have people who are working. People who are wanting to be paid for their services or are just outright a scammer and are just like blasting everyone that on the website that they can see. So if you go to a website looking for an actual relationship, more than 2/3 of the posts you're going to see are paid services and kinky shit. Hey, we need more guys for a gangbang. Depending on what you're into. So it's problematic online in a big way that anytime they make a place for group A, groups B and C show up very quickly. This is very apparent on sites like Plenty of Fish, where tons of bots. If you go and you sort by like new users, it's almost all bots. So some websites have done different things to secure their users from stuff like that. For example, OkCupid has a system, and I'll get to Tinder, where you swipe left or right on different users' profiles. And if you've both said that you like one another, then you can see if they have already sent you a message. So if I send you a message, you will not see it unless you tell the website that you're interested in me, at which point you will then see my message. So I cannot spam your inbox. Another issue that women generally face on these sites is that they are inundated with messages. A lot of times from the worst offers. The guy who has the least to offer must be the most vocal about his desires, right? So, or girl, or they. So, this scares a lot of normies away from these websites that don't have safety protocols where they can choose to match up or not match up with individuals. Because otherwise they're going to have an inbox full of dick pics. So then we get Tinder. Tinder is the easiest, most streamlined. Yeah, when you don't accept. I've messaged you 3 times and you haven't responded, cunt. So Tinder was this system on crack. You swipe left if you think they're ugly. You swipe right if you think they're pretty. You just blitz through as many as you can. You match up with someone, and then you start talking. Then you're able to send messages to one another. Tinder seems to be the most normie accepted way of dating online so far. The non-committal nature of just having a profile on there where you don't even actually have to put anything about yourself, and how easy it is to just sit on the toilet and swipe while you're pooping, kind of mixed together to make something that people with normal 9-to-5 jobs also use this thing. So you can go on there as a normal person and find someone normal to date. But what if you're not normal? There's other websites aside from FetLife for kink stuff. They all suck. None of them have enough users. That's the big issue. If you're trying to compete with one of these sites, you need to draw in more people, because people are the thing that people come there for. So it's a little bit of a spiral upward or downward either way, depending on what you have going on. If you don't have anyone using your website, then nobody wants to fucking use your website. I'm not going to find anybody to date or have sex with on a website that has no people. So let's move into the next section here. With all of this, I'm going to go to it's too much effort to stay in tune with it. With all of that, it can seem like it's a lot of work to figure out where you should go, as each of these places has a kind of different atmosphere and a different reason to use them. Another example is Bumble, which is just like Tinder, except men cannot send the first message. Women have to. This draws in a certain type of people who even more so don't want to be bothered by men. So they go there rather than Tinder. Obviously, your best bet is to have them all. Use all the dating sites. Have an account everywhere. Forward them all to one email and check it 3 times a day, or you're never going to have sex. That's ridiculous, right? You're not going to do that. So you want to find the place that has the people you want to date. That's what you're looking for. Now, our discussion tonight, after that has all been said, is regarding BDSM and fetish play partners. Today, in 2020, this our year of the COVID, how do you find someone to fuck? Tinder is your best shot, to be 100% honest. The sheer volume of people there means that your odds of finding someone with whom you will connect is higher than anywhere else. Now, you can increase the odds of there being someone with the same interests in you as you by going to one of the niche kind of sites. I remember one, I think it's called like cos dating for people who cosplay. Like, there's things like this for everything. You can find dating for people who love to milk cows, farmersonly.com. And you can kind of narrow that wedge until, there's only 3 other users and you all have the same interests. And you go, fuck, this sucks. So then you go back to Tinder. It is useful to advertise your interests up front. So on these dating websites, people who say something like, I am looking for a serious relationship only, no hookups. Okay. If I'm trying to bang, then I'm not going to message you. Why waste either of our time? Cool. Then I saw a chick on Tinder the other night that was like, I am looking to get laid because COVID sucks. Swipe right, I squirt. I was like, nice. I like your attitude, lady. I like your attitude. I like the way you play the game. So, you can be really upfront, but then you do run the risk, if especially if you're a woman, of men thinking you're a bot. Especially if you're attractive. If you're attractive and upfront about wanting to have sex online and a woman, people would think you're just not real. There's so many scammers online that it's a big deal. I have run into fake accounts of my ex-girlfriends on Tinder and sent them messages like, hey, I know this isn't you because I used to date the girl in this picture. That's happened to me twice. And I've had someone make an account of me once. So they named me Mikey Malice. Mikey Malice. That was MySpace days. So so from there, let's say the question at the top of this discussion was, is it worth it? Well, once again, this in our year of the Lord COVID, what is your other option? You can date people from work. That's a bad idea. If you work in person somewhere, which if you do, you probably only see the top half of someone's face, which can be attractive, I guess. But so odds are more people will have met online this year than ever before. What can you gain or lose from this? Shahrazad porn. What can you gain from this or lose from this? Gain a very low commitment way to meet other people, right? I don't have to get all gussied up. I can sit on my toilet, buck ass naked, and talk to women. And I look like my best in the pictures online. So the me that they're talking to is the best looking me I can be. That's pretty nice, you know, putting your best foot forward in that way. You can get the angles right to make yourself look even better. And if you've been talking to someone for a while, then when you meet in person, you will be more attractive to them because they're attracted to your personality. This is just like a thing that is real. You will appear more attractive to someone who has been speaking to you for a while and likes your personality. So, you know, use that to your advantage and take some good looking pictures from the right angles, right? You can meet more people faster than any other method. I can show myself to millions of people with a few clicks. You know, set up 3 or 4 different accounts on a few different websites, leave them there for a year, and it's doing my advertising for me. I can get messages from women 6 months from now saying something about a profile I made back then. So that's pretty cool. In the fetish world, it can be difficult to meet people of the same particular fetishes as you. You can pre-filter for that by meeting online in different groups. If you're only into cosplay sex, you might want to be on cos dating, right? There are niche groups and subgroups for pretty much everything that you could imagine. Especially when it comes to BDSM stuff. Now, there's another thing that you can do online that's pretty special. Role-playing! Yes, the kind with wizards. I put on my wizard hat and gown. Role-playing is something that, outside of its context of a thing you do in team building class or while playing Dungeons and Dragons. Role playing is something people do online where they both act as though they are a given character. Maybe that character is themselves, and virtually explain or act out things they would do in a sexual encounter. This is something that really rose to prominence in the 2000s, and from what I understand, continues very strongly to this day. I grew out of it, but apparently it just stuck. So, you have the opportunity to meet someone online, have roleplay sex with them, and see how compatible you are in all of those regards, just talking in a sexual dynamic, before you ever even meet them. That's pretty cool. You can have a quasi-sexual experience just sitting at your desk, like I do every night. And this is excellent for couples that are separated by distance, right? I mean, like long-distance relationships. How did you even do it before the internet? Advancements in tech have made it so that you can do things with webcams. There are toys you can remotely connect to and play with that you can control the vibration of, all sorts of stuff. Letters. My dearest Beauregard, 'twas 9 past the noon bell when I awoke to face those southern men who so valiantly fight for their land. I love Civil War letters, actually. The way they speak is amazing. And I have read dirty Civil War letters, and they're astounding. It really was, like, actually amazing to read some, like, dirty Civil War era letters, because the way they spoke was so elegant and so thoughtful. Very interesting stuff. So, there's toys you can get to play with online that, you know, your partner sticks inside themselves and you control the vibrations with a keyboard or with your phone. You can webcam, you have nice mics, you can hear everything. Shit, there are toys with cameras in them that you can then beam to your computer so your partner can see inside of you. This affords us opportunities that were just never even possible before. You can have, like, you can pretty much have an entire relationship online now. Now, what are the downsides? Is it worth it? Remember, that was the question. My ear is really itchy. I had a bunch of bug bites on my feet this morning. I don't feel like any bugs bit me on the ear, but what's wrong with online dating? Well, I kind of alluded to earlier, the worst people to date generally end up online dating. You might find really good people, but the worst people are probably going to be there. Because, like, nobody wants them. So they're, like, critically single and desperate to find someone. People might use your interest against you. If you are desperate, then they can use that desperation to manipulate you. People can catfish where they are not at all who they say they are. You show up for the meeting and it is not even the right gender, not the right ethnicity, not the right anything. We've all seen an episode of Catfish, and if you haven't, check out at least one episode because it is fucking funny. This can be dangerous at worst. There have been people who have gone to have encounters from Craigslist, and they've been killed. I have a story that is kind of like that. I'm going to bend one fact to make it about that, okay? My next door neighbor liked meeting men online. So I was out walking my dog one night, and a guy comes into the apartment complex and starts kind of following me around. And I go up to my apartment, and he is literally 6 inches, 1 foot behind me as I cross the threshold into my door. So I grabbed a knife that I hid above the door, and I went, "Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker!" And he and ran away. I assume he was probably there because my next door neighbor had invited him for sex, and he didn't know what my next door neighbor looked like. So, this could have been very dangerous for our friend here had I just decided to fucking cut his throat. Like, I kept the sheath on the knife in case he was too close. But had I not, who knows? I could have fucking stabbed a dude. Just because he scared me. Because he was trying to get laid. He's not even trying to date me. He's just trying to get laid. He wasn't trying to manipulate me or lie to me. He met someone online, was having a legit hookup, and then he gets fucking stabbed in the chest. My piece of shit cousin, who literally no one wants, is trying online dating. The worst people have to end up there. The wrong kind of stabbing, the wrong kind of daggering. The worst people will end up there. And this is something we said about making friends this morning. That websites for meeting friends and meetup.com and stuff like that tends to have a lot of people you wouldn't really like because they have nowhere else to go. Once all your friends have abandoned you because you're a piece of shit, all you have left is the internet. You have to cast an even wider net and hope that anyone lands in it. You know what I mean? So that is definitely something you need to keep in mind when you're on there. That, ask yourself this: why aren't you able to find a date in real life when you're looking at their profile? Question their profile. Interrogate it. What's wrong with this person? Why are they online dating? Why aren't they already taken? And then ask that about yourself. What are other issues that can arise from online dating? The ease of online dating can sometimes create issues with monogamy, if that's an issue for you and your partner. It's very easy for you to cheat by using the internet. And let's move to fetish people finding other fetish people. The bad. False intimacy. Yeah, definitely. You can build false intimacy with someone online that's like a mixture of catfishing and not, right? Like, I'm me, but I'm pretending to have feelings I don't. And it's easier to do that online because you can't see my facial expressions. So you don't know if I really feel that way about you or not, right? You don't know that in real life either, but in the virtual world, it's less noticeable. As far as fetish stuff goes, obviously it is very appealing to look online. The more nuanced your fetish is, the more it's going to seem like online's the place to go. How else am I going to find people who, are into standing on their heads with a garden hose in their butt, sucking on the other end of the garden hose just to create negative pressure inside their rectum? How am I ever going to find anybody else who's into this if I don't go on the internet? Well, here's the thing. This is bad in the sense of what we could compare it to as a replacement. I am a vampire. So the thing that would replace this, or the thing that existed before this, were meetups, fetish clubs, fetish groups, things like that. The benefits of those things are not our subject tonight. However, they are increased trust, as you can ask other people in the scene about this person. A little bit more accountability, as if the person fucks you over, you can tell everyone else about them. The benefit of being in person with someone and all the things like that. As well as a bit of safety, as other people know who you've gone with and stuff like that. All of those benefits are null when it comes to online dating. maybe if you're in a small enough niche group, there'll be some knowledge of like, oh, so and so used to date so and then they fucked them over. But that is going to be less and less and less. The more the more online this group is. If they don't touch real space very often, if they don't have like conventions or meetups or anything, then the knowledge about one another is going to be an absolute minimum. Also, because of the way the internet works, it can be easy to become hyped up about something. So you meet someone online and you think that they're attractive in their pictures and you have chemistry. You begin chatting, and before long, you're basically having cyber sex. You're role playing. And then, yeah, isn't that what all of it is? No. And then, fuck, what the fuck was I just saying? Oh, getting hyped. So you're talking about the things that you could do together, and you're having cyber sex, and things are getting more and more hype. You know, I'm gonna do this to you, and then I'm gonna do this times 2, and then I'm gonna do this times 3. And then you show up and you meet them for the first time, and you realize that you do not know this person at all. You don't know their pheromones. You don't know their little, micro motor expressions. You barely know this person. And you've kind of verbally agreed to do a whole series of sexual things with them. It's easy to feel guilted we were doing it wrong. It's easy to feel guilted into then doing things that you don't actually want to because of the hype you built in virtual space with someone. Because the restraints of physicality were not on you, it was easy to get out of hand. As soon as the physical world is involved again, all of a sudden you come back to your normal senses and realize that you don't really know this person. Or maybe that's part of what turns you on about it, that you don't know this person. However, it is much easier to come to arrangements about things in person, to suggest something and see your partner's facial expression. So the arrangement of what you will agree to on a fetish basis, beyond even the hype that you went to, you might not be entirely compatible once you get into a physical space with a person. Because you feel nervous about things, you suddenly change your mind and you don't want to do that one other sexual thing, but you're still willing to do A and B, just not C. It can be very awkward to try and stop someone from that you've known online for a long time. And this is all, of course, on top of lying is just lying. If someone lies to you about what they're going to do, there's very little that you can do about that, So if someone says that they're going to respect your boundaries and then they don't, that could happen to you in real life. So there's a lot of areas where this kind of overlaps with that, and it's not any more threatening than real life is, except for the lack of accountability. That you might not know anyone who knows this person. So if they do something weird, there might not be anyone to hold them accountable. So, online dating, is it worth it? If you're asking me, yeah. I mean, I would not have had sex half as many times if it wasn't for online dating. Come on now. And I've utilized it to stay in relationships with people over distance. I've used it to have casual encounters entirely online. I've used it to have one-time meetups with people that I met online. And I've used it to enter, extremely close, long relationships after spending a lot of time talking to a person online. So I say yes. Now, if you met someone online and they weren't who they said they were and they murdered you, your friends would say no, it is not worth it. I can't say they're wrong. So I guess I have to say, be very, very fucking careful. Do your research. Try and find someone who can validate who that person is. Some person that you can meet in real life who can tell you for sure that the person is conveying themselves in a way that is actually representative of who they are, what they stand for, the types of things that they do. And do your research. See if you can find any other sites that they're on. See if they've revealed any things about themselves that you're uncomfortable with. That's part of the benefit of the internet. So if you can't find anything about this person, it's quite likely that they're hiding something, and you should be even more careful. So, it's worth it as long as you're safe. Have fun. Have fun. Get laid. Everybody's gonna get laid. Any questions, students? Any questions, pupils? Howls.cc, live.howls.cc, youtube.howls.cc. You have to enter http // but you don't. If you just type it into a browser, it'll do it for you. This is dumb. This is dumb. Twitter, @CountHal. Instagram, @CountHal. You know,